Hey there guys, IRClevor here, and I'm here today with a review of the Champions of Anteria. This is a game that I have been following for quite a while now, almost 2 years actually. Unfortunately though, I didn't manage to get my hands on like a review copy or an early preview of the game or anything like that. Hopefully though, I got one better. This is a demo of the game that's released to everyone. There's no barrier, there's no just press only thing. Anyone that wants to try out this game can test the demo here. So that's what I'm going to be looking at today. Hopefully this demo is a good representation of what the Champions of Anteria is going to offer us overall. Now purely from a speculation standpoint, I think the developers, Blue Byte, released this demo as a little bit of damage control. The game was really badly received almost like 18 months to 2 years ago when it was supposed to be a settlers game. No one really wanted it to go in this kind of action RPG direction it was taking the Settlers franchise. Nobody wanted that. But they're back now with the Champions of Anteria, having dropped the Settlers tag, the Settlers part of the name, that was probably holding back the developers from creating a game that they really wanted. So this is a brand new IP. I think what this demo does show us though is that the developers are really confident in what they have to offer. They want their potential customers to know exactly what they're getting into. So let's begin with some of this action RPG combat, which actually makes up a huge part of the Champions of Anteria. To start with, every hero, every enemy is aligned to an element. And we have 5 elements here. You can kind of see it down in this bottom corner. So each one is powerful against another one, similar to a rock, paper, scissors system. So fire is strong against metal, metal here is strong against nature, nature is strong against lightning, etc, etc. I think the damage bonus is like 33% extra damage, so it's quite a significant amount. So if we look here, we have our 3 heroes. Apparently in the full game there are 5 heroes to choose from. Every time you go on a little mission you can only choose 3 heroes. Now when you go on a mission, it will tell you in advance kind of which elements are most likely to occur on that map, so you can choose wisely when you're choosing your heroes to go in. Let's have a look at this combat here. So we've got Vargas, our metal guy, he's aligned to the metal. There's Nulsala, she's a nature archer. And then we've got our monk here, Aslem, and he's a lightning guy. So we can go in here and we've got a few enemies lined up here. There's this big one at the front here, she's metal, and then there's two water guys and 2 nature guys. This is part of the tutorial, I think, where it's introducing you to the different elements, so this is a good place to show. I've got the game paused at the moment. This is part of the game's active pause system, which I will get into later. Let's have a look here though as we go in. So the best way to attack here is obviously to attack, use your heroes to attack who you are strong against. So the metal woman here is strong against this nature. So we definitely do not want this woman to be attacking our archer here, Nulsala, because she is going to be taking 33% extra damage. What Nulsala would be good against is electric people, but there are no electric people here. Our priest here, our monk, is aligned to electric, so he can probably fight off these water people nice and easily. So I'm going to get him to do damage to these water people. We've also got Vargas here, who's probably strongest against nature. There's a nature guy here, so we're going to kind of use one of his special abilities. Look at that, we can attack 2 at a time, and then I tell you what, we'll get Nulsala to just kind of run off here. I might as well show you this active pause while we're at it. It's pretty cool. You can pause the game and then line up you can line up 4 moves. So move 1 here is moving over here. If I hold down shift and right click again, she can then move over there. We can right click again, so she'll move over there, and one more time. So there's her 4 moves moved up. If I press play here, she's going to make her way through this list of commands I've sent her. Pretty cool indeed. I can press the spacebar again to pause. She's been followed by this big boss the whole time, but that's fine. That's fine for now. Let's unpause again then and check out here what's happening. We've got Vargas. Where is Vargas here? He's doing some damage. We can get him to attack this nature guy because he'll do 33% extra damage. And if we see the red attacks here, the regular attacks were yellow, red attacks there were the extra, the heavier damage dealing there. We said we won there, so let's move on. Actually guys, on the topic of the 5 elements and their kind of rock, paper, scissors actions against each other, there are some interesting elements mixed into this as well. So here we have Nusala, our nature lady, shooting arrows at this bandit here who is metal. Now we already know that metal is super effective against nature in this game. He's going to be doing 33% extra damage to Nusala here, so it doesn't really make sense for these guys to just shoot it out, because you'll think that the nature lady is going to take a lot of damage. However, she has an ability here to explode her arrows. This actually does fire damage. Very interesting, because fire is super effective against metal, so she can fight against this metal guy and then once in a while do one of these moves and yeah, basically do extra damage to him. Pretty cool indeed. How this would work is for each shot she lands, it builds up an arrowhead in this guy, and then we can choose the explosives arrows, and that did 65 damage. That did loads extra damage, and yeah, it turns out she's done loads more damage to him. They're on a cooldown, obviously, quite a lot of the moves are, but yeah, quite an interesting element to the game, I think. So these hero abilities are pretty cool, I think. I think they add an extra layer of tactics, an extra layer of strategy, and they will hopefully prevent the game from becoming stale, especially later on where you've played loads and loads of these different missions. So here we have the map of Anteria. As you can see, we're quite early in the game. Of course, this is just a demo that I'm reviewing, so most of this is hidden away. Most of this is in the fog of war. We can't really see where this is. These are the 2 lands we have uncovered though, which are right next to our base here. This is our main kingdom. You can tell by this kind of blue line around our kingdom, and then we can expand. We can do one of these action RPG missions with our 3 heroes and kind of conquer these lands. You can see here in the top left it says it's owned by nobody, so we can go in and swipe that land. This particular mission is a protect the caravan mission. The other one is a fortify defenses. Hopefully there's lots of different types of missions. It's hard to tell from the demo as it stands at the moment, though the protect the caravan mission was quite interesting. As you can see here in the top left, where it gives us some information about this particular area, it shows us on like a kind of radar what kind of elements we're most likely to encounter. So it looks like there's quite a lot of nature, which are wild animals and enemies, bandits that are aligned to nature, and there's also some metal, which is most likely bandits as well. So if we were really smart, we would choose the fire guy, and maybe we'd choose a metal guy for sure, so we'd have super strength against these guys. Unfortunately, during the demo we don't have the option to choose the fire hero, so we're going to stick with the 3 heroes that they have given us so far. So we can see down here is our village, our castle, hopefully the humble beginnings of what will be eventually a huge sprawling kingdom. If we click on this, it will take us to the castle. Let's check that out. So here it is, guys. Here is our castle, surrounded by the lands which you have to unlock here. You can see all of these areas are unlocked. We've got an area down here already unlocked for us. If you guys did check out the Kingdoms of Anteria back when it was supposed to be a settlers game, you'll be surprised at the similarities and things that they have actually kept. This is very similar to the settlers game, though they've kind of streamlined it a little bit. Like I say, they've cast away the bonds of having to be a settlers game, and yeah, it's a lot more streamlined. There's a lot less clutter. It's very simple, really. Here we go. Here is one of the areas we have unlocked. We get to choose a building here. Looks like we're going to need some basic building materials. We can see all of the materials at the top right here. Basically, all of the buildings are supposed to help the heroes while they're out questing. So we're going to need a, what was this, some building materials. And the building materials are going to help us build buildings to help the heroes. So there we have a quarry worker, which is going to produce some building materials for us. So from a base building and a city building perspective, this is definitely not a settlers game. The city building here is rather simple, really. You have your basic things like, for example, we put this quarry worker down, which is going to produce building materials. The quarry worker is obviously going to need somewhere to live, so we have these 2 residences here. To capture a new area, to unlock one of these areas, you're going to need to place a watchtower. The watchtowers are acquired slightly differently. That's through a talent tree, which I'll get to later. So now we have the building materials. We're going to need to build an apothecary. Apparently we're going to be attacked in a couple of days' time. It would be very nice to have an apothecary here to make potions for us. The only place it's letting us place this building is right here. Look at that. Cool, there we go. It's still got the animations from the Settlers game where it builds it up and everything explodes. Pretty interesting. We've got this guy here giving us commands. Screw that guy. Right, and so we can then go to the apothecary. Like I say, every single building in the village is built to help out the heroes. So we're going to need some health potions. It looks like we've got 30 water stacked here. Each of these are like raw materials for the elements. So we've got 30 water stacked here. So what we can do is we can craft up to 15 healing potions. It looks like each healing potion will take 2 of the water material. So there we go. Let's get 15 healing potions. Thank you very much. Brilliant, so now we have some potions ready to use in combat. Unfortunately, if we look up here to our resources in the top right, we have 0 water material and we're making 0 per day. So one of the things we're going to have to build is a well worker. Unfortunately, this being the demo, it's kind of very slowly spoon feeding us information. Let me complete a little bit more of this demo and then we'll get to the well workers and how to expand and unlock other areas. Okay, so here we go, missions completed. I'm back with the ability to build a water house, but not quite yet. Here we go, the water material producers are still a little bit greyed out. What we need to do here is check out the talent tree. We're still using renown like back when it was supposed to be a settlers game. This is the talent tree, look at this. Awesome load of buildings and different features you can check out. We'll check out like one, what's this? Incapacitor. So these are different devices you can use, and a fine leather armor, different types of armor and weapons and things. Right at the bottom though here we have the water carrier. We can use our renown to unlock the water carrier. Pretty cool. We've also got ourselves an extra tower here, an extra watchtower. I guess all this is in line. Brilliant. So let's leave the talent tree. Awesome, so here we go, we can go and create buildings and get the water material producers tab open and go for a water carrier's hut, which produces 8 water per day. Brilliant. And we can choose a spot for it. Where it's a pretty cool building though, actually. These are all pretty fancy, pretty brilliant looking buildings. I'll put it here, why not? There's space for it there. Watch it build. That's really cool. That's a nice little animation there. I don't know why the wood needs to explode, but it does. Right, so we just got a message saying that this particular sector is looking quite busy, and it is, isn't it? I think there's a little space there for one more building. Apart from that though, that sector is going to be completely full. Now what we can do then is unlock a watchtower. We went to the talent tree here, and this watchtower is unlocked. Brilliant, so there we can go and choose the watchtower. We've got 1 available. Now what we can do is just place it at the edge here and it will unlock this area. Before, this was off limits to us. So each different sector here has its own kind of environmental features. So this sector is a forest, this one is a mountain, this one is by a river. And if we look here, the river will give us a plus 50% production from water material and lightning material things. So there's a way to kind of be smart about this and increase efficiency, which is very interesting because back when this was a Settlers game, I'm pretty sure it didn't have this feature. So that's a cool little addition to the game that's not really expected, but I like that. I really like that. As a fan of base building games and city building games, I think that's a nice feature. So we can go to our watchtower here, and we don't necessarily have to choose this river here. We can also choose this sector here, which is the forest, so we can get plus 50% production in fire material. I think these over here are meadows, so we can get plus 50 in nature materials. Very cool indeed. I'm going to just choose this area though because it's nice and close, and why not? We can get that extra water. Brilliant. And we need a residence for this as well. So we need a worker for this. So we're going to have to build a residence as well. Here we go. We've got the building materials for it because we have a quarry. Here we go. Where should we put it? Let's get it right here. Nice and close. I really like that as you're placing buildings and filling up a sector, all of these little aesthetic things start appearing as well. You can see here that I've actually filled up this sector and this market has appeared. Now obviously there's no way to interact with this market. It actually serves no purpose other than looking nice. You can see that there's all these villagers walking around doing their jobs. It makes the village look really lively and look lived in. That's a nice thing that I like from Settlers games, and that's translated really quite well over into the kingdom, the Champions of Anteria even. I mentioned earlier that it's a lot more streamlined, there's a lot less clutter. I think that's quite obvious. Yes. So guys, in conclusion, I'm actually very impressed by the Champions of Anteria demo so far. There's obviously a part of me that's a little bit disappointed that there's no Settlers game, but I'm happy to see there at least is some city building elements there. However streamlined or dumbed down it is, at least there is some kind of production efficiency to aim for. I started the demo not knowing what to expect, but I've actually been pleasantly surprised by the city building elements. Now it's quite clear that the city building is probably going to be a small part of this game, and then the majority is going to be made up by this kind of hero-based action RPG. I'm really actually getting a Torchlight vibe from this game, and I mean that as a compliment. I really like Torchlight. I think this is a really cool competitor to that kind of game as well. A huge part of this action RPG side of the game is this rock paper scissors style elemental alignments, which make this game way more tactical. On top of that, there's the hero abilities, so heroes can counter their counter, so to speak. That once again adds an extra layer of preparation and strategy, which is really cool. I'm really impressed by that section of the game. Overall guys, I would say that the Champions of Anteria demo at least is really quite promising. It does have that interesting combination of city building and action RPG that I've not seen in a game before. Maybe there's another game out there, but this is definitely doing things well. It's nice to see a new IP from Blue Byte as well. That's always good to see. This is a game I would definitely consider buying. I'm really quite happy with how it's turned out. So guys, that's going to be it for my Champions of Anteria review. I hope you liked it. Feel free to check out my channel and my other videos. I enjoy other Blue Byte games. I enjoy the Settlers games. Like I said, I was very interested in playing the Settlers 8. I guess we're going to have to wait for that one. So once again, a big thanks for watching guys.